You also said in something that I was listening to that Google, even with all of its resources, couldn't fund you forever, and that was what made learning quickly important. How did you know, particularly with files, because that's what most of our conversation at the moment is centering on? How did you know that you were onto something? Was there some sort of magic moment where the team just went, "That's it," or was there something different? Was it more gradual?
It was more gradual. I think there was a lot of skepticism on, if you have a fully staffed team who's super pumped about gaming platform, which was something we were building in the beginning, you're gonna have some
Yeah.
attrition, right? Like people will be there to be like, oh, I'm gonna work in this gaming platform for Google. And then in the middle of the process, like some engineers figure out, well, we're actually not building that anymore. We're building a file manager, and some people are just like, no way, I'm not doing this. I'm leaving. So that happens,
Yeah.
and you have to convince people. You have to manage the tension, and you have to keep the team lean, especially when you're like in the discovery phases, because if you just invest too much in the beginning, then you have way more friction, you have way more attrition. The other thing that for me was very useful was to make sure that one, we have the right problem. And then once we start to work towards the solution, I try to work with my team to make sure that the solutions we were building was also based on the profile of the users we're talking to. So, for instance, one example that I like to discuss is the fact that the file managers for Android at that point, they're mostly folder-based navigation, right? Like your Windows or your Mac OS. When you go to your file explorer, you have like this multiple tree level folders, and you start to get in multiple levels, and sometimes you lose your files, you don't remember where they are. Sometimes you create like categories that doesn't make sense. So I had a big conversation with my Eng team because I was like, I don't want to rebuild that experience for phones. People don't have this metaphor of organizing things in a tree uh, folder structure. And this is just a mess. It's not even a good solution in terms of design because it's too much confusion, too much control, and it depends too much in the user memory. So I came back to the Eng team and I said like, hey, let's try this tab and category based navigation where if you tap on images, we show on your images. If you tap on documents, we show all your documents. And if you want to see all, you just stay on that first screen. But if you want to see like from WhatsApp, from Twitter, or from email, you start to swipe, right? Like, so using a lot of the natural gestures that people are used to do in phones. And in the beginning, they were like, no way, we can't break file structure on a phone because that's how files are physically attached to a device or a storage in a phone. And I said yes and no because this is just an abstraction, and we can just create another abstraction on top of that. But it was hard, and we did a lot of research again to just show that hey, this is working better. Let's try this. And I think my fallback, trying to look at both points of view, was to add an advanced mode where people could still access all the folder structure if they wanted. But guess what? Like most people didn't use it because it's so much easier to navigate towards your categories.
So you actually put both of the modes into the product in order to assess quantitatively what would be more used.
Yeah. So we put that, and the advanced mode is just something that some people still like it to use, like especially the more tech savvy people. But again, if you think about the story I just told you on people who are having their first experience using a smartphone, it's way easier to take a picture or save a document. Just go to files and tap on documents, and your document will be there, will be the first in the list.